Hey everyone, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today we are doing one of my favorite videos of the year. We are doing my yearly recap. So I'm going to go over my 2023 goals, how I stacked up to them, some new things that I'm going to be adding to my goal list for 2024, and I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 puzzles of the year. There are some really good ones this year, and it was really hard to narrow it down. I think I originally had like 30 in my list, but I did manage to get it down to 10, and as always I did rank them. So you'll see my personal favorites this year, and I'll link them down below if I can find them online. But we are just going to jump into this. I hope you are doing well. I hope you all have a fantastic new year. And if you're new to this channel, I would love if you subscribed and join our little family. I try to post 2 to 3 times a week. I know with the holidays I may have missed a couple, but I have so many plans for next year and I'm excited to bring you along. So let's just get into this video. So let's start off with my favorite puzzles of the year. These are the top 10. From 10 to number 1, we're going to discuss my favorites. This is based off of image, experience, quality, and I could say that the top 30 puzzles of the year were all fantastic. Number 10, which was from Buffalo Games. Buffalo Games is definitely making a moment here in my collection. I have done them in the past, but I feel like for me here, they're so much easier to find in thrift stores versus when I was in California. It was like once in a blue moon that I was able to find a Buffalo Games puzzle in person. So I was able to find quite a few this year in person at thrift stores, and I really loved quite a few of them this year. Number 10 goes to Cat Balloon Race. I loved this image so much. If you're new to my channel, I love hot air balloons, especially in puzzles. And so this one was just so much fun. There's like these big hot air balloons, and they have these like cats dressed as humans in like Victorian style era. There was like Victrola. It was just like such a quirky image, but I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun to put together. It was 750 pieces, which I feel like is such an underrated piece count because you can have a little bit more puzzling time than say a 300 or 500, but you're not as committed as a 1,000-piece puzzle. So loved the piece count, but also for some reason this Buffalo Games puzzle had fantastic fit. It was so secure. I can move like huge sections at a time without any type of issue, and I don't know if it's because they changed manufacturers. Maybe I got like just a really good one, but I absolutely loved it. But in general, the image was so much fun, so it definitely deserves the number 10 spot. I really enjoyed that one. Moving into number 9, this is a brand new brand to me, and this is Puzzles of Color, and the puzzle name is called Pachanga Familiar. This one I did during my 24-hour puzzle-thon, and I loved it. It was so much fun. It's so bright, so colorful, very abstract, a little bit on the tricky side, but I really enjoyed this image a lot. It was just so happy, and I love the colors. Like, I just can't express like how much I love the colors. I also really like the difficulty. Even though it was 500 pieces, it was quite tricky. It made it also because I was doing a 24-hour puzzle-thon and I was getting kind of tired, but I loved it. For the quality of this puzzle brand, it's the first time that I've done one of theirs, but it almost has like a plastic type quality to it, but they are cardboard pieces. So they have a paper backing, which normally isn't my favorite thing because I've had issues in the past with it like peeling up or causing issues, but this time around it almost made the pieces feel plasticky. I can't explain it other than that. When you put the pieces in, they had such a secure snap, and it sounded like plastic pieces, and it was just such a fun experience. I love the colors of these. They had beautiful matte pieces, and it was a joy to do. I'm so excited to see what else they have. It's definitely a brand I'm like itching to get some more of, but definitely recommend if you've never tried them before. Love the quality, definitely love the image and the color. So moving on to number 8, we have this one from Schmidt called Seasons. I did this one back in March, and I love this one. I keep wanting to do it again, and for some reason I just like had to choose something new, but this one I could definitely see me doing a few more times. Loved this puzzle. It was quite easy because it's easy to see which quadrant you are doing or pulling from, so it's just very easy to do, very calming. I think I did it in like an hour and a half. It was a very quick one. I love doing sky. It had 4 different segments of sky. Like, I just really enjoyed it. Also, Schmidt has beautiful quality, nice, again, matte pieces, which you'll see as a trend here, not on purpose. I just happen to really like matte pieces. I feel like it just like brings out the color quite a bit, and I enjoyed this one a lot. So It is a little bit trickier to find. I do know it's on Puzzle Warehouse, but it sells out often. It's just like a good one. Moving on to number 7, we have a Tanya Wicks puzzle. And I was really torn between candlesticks and this one, but I decided to go with Citrus Burst. I really enjoyed this puzzle. I think it's because it was somewhat challenging for me that it made me have a little bit more strategy towards my puzzling. And I feel like this was like the turning point for me. I did it back in August, and that's when I really decided that I liked doing somewhat more challenging images on occasion, and I like to do large sections of a particular color or theme. So I don't really like a chaotic method type of puzzle, but I do appreciate when it's like large things. And for this puzzle, there's only a handful of colors within the image. You have some grapefruits, you have some limes, you have oranges, and that's pretty much it. So you're doing these sections of like a lot of the same color, and I really like that. I like dividing the pieces up by color and sorting them by shape. I just really enjoyed it. It was definitely a really great quality item as well. Really beautiful fit. I had no issues with false fits. Again, a matte puzzle. They are a bit on the pricier side because they are an Australian brand, very small company, but I am excited to see other things that they have. They have a new collection that I've definitely been eyeing. I also, again, did candlesticks this year, and I loved that one as well. Like, that was in my top 15. I loved both of them. Quality-wise, fantastic, and I like that it's like photographs, but they are just a little bit different. I like them. Anyways, that is my number 7 spot. Number 6, I love this one so much. I feel like I'm gonna say that for each of these now. But number 6 here was from Magnolia, and it was called Swans Near Charles Bridge. This one is just a stunning image, and again, it just required a little bit more thought and strategy for this one. We have this beautiful sky up here, which I love sky, and it was like half the puzzle. That was so much fun to do. And then the bottom part was this water thing, and it looks very challenging, but it definitely made me think a little bit more and see how I could make it a little bit easier for me. That was just seeing the different colors of the puzzle pieces. So over here we have some more pink tones with the water, we have some darker colors down at the bottom, we have some teal bits over here. So once I actually looked at the puzzle pieces, there were things to work from, so it actually ended up being a lot easier than I was expecting. In general, the colors were stunning to do, quality was beautiful, and this is one I loved this year. I have quite a few other Magnolias that are in my collection, and I feel like for me, I just need to take a moment and pause on the spending because I have so many beautiful puzzles I would love to do. And the Magnolia ones are definitely on that list. So I think I am going to like pause a while because I have so many beautiful puzzles that I need to get doing. Moving on to number 5. Okay, so you guys are not surprised I'm putting villager puzzles here on this video, and it was really hard to narrow down which one deserved to be in the top 10 because I could have easily put all 3 that I've done this year in the top 10. I decided to just do this one because I love the image. Again, it's one that required a little bit more strategy, a little bit more planning. It had just a few colors. This one is called, Vancouver Sunset. If you're new to the brand, they are tiny, so they don't ship to a lot of places yet. They are still brand new, but I loved this image so much. I did 2 others this year. I did Mushroom Forager, and I did the Swan, I forget the name of it, but Salt Spring something. Anyways, this one here is just, I loved how simple it was. We had some gradient sky, we have the words here, and then we have like these beautiful like blues and teals at the bottom, which were just like large sections, but there is a gradient that you can work from. Again, I had to sort a couple times by piece shape for the larger sections, but it was so much fun to do. I love the colors of this puzzle. I love the fit of this brand. Like, I love everything about it, and I'm excited to do more from them. I have the whole entire collection that she has, and I'm excited to get to the other 5 that are still on my to-do list. Moving on to number 4, we have Moon Cycle by Buffalo Games. I can't show you the box because I no longer have it, but I do have it on my wall still. So I had done a video where I was trying different methods to keep things together for a puzzle, and I did this one with puzzle tape or painter's tape, and it's a 1,500 piece puzzle, which is definitely more on the challenging side for me, but I loved it. I loved it so much. I'll show the image on the screen. I think I still have a full image of it. But it is this beautiful like gradient galaxy with like a bunch of different moons. But then there's also layers of like these beautiful mountains with the fog, and then you have the guy camping. Like there's so many different layers to work from. And I was able to just really focus on it, and it was really easy to sort things, and I loved it. It was a lot easier than I was expecting it was going to be. I love the gradient sky. Again, fit was definitely better than my other experiences with Buffalo Games. I just really enjoyed this image a lot. Again, a little bit more on the challenging side for me, but it was really fun to do. I absolutely loved it. Moving on to number 3. Oh my gosh, these top 3 are wonderful. So number 3 here goes to the Hop or USA Opoly. This one is called Dr. Seuss Books, which I loved so much. It is definitely a quick 1,000 piece puzzle. I did this one maybe in 5 hours. Like it was a very quick experience, very easy to sort. Really beautiful quality, which I was not expecting from this brand, because this brand does a lot of like novelty things. They have like Golden Girls and like Mario and like all these like licensed things, which to me, I've always had experiences with like other brands just putting poor quality on those types of images because people just buy them because they're fun. So I wasn't expecting much from this brand, but the quality was beautiful. It had nice matte pieces that don't have that linen-y texture, which I don't mind. I know some people aren't a fan of it. For me, I enjoy that aspect. It had beautiful color, beautiful fit. Like I could move a whole book at a time by like one puzzle piece. It was absolutely awesome. It was also a nostalgic image for me. I definitely grew up with Dr. Seuss books, so I really enjoy this image. I know a few of you have also purchased it and enjoyed it, so definitely a fun one, just like makes me happy, and again, quality wise, amazing. So definitely deserves the spot in the top 3. Moving on to my number 2 spot, which is by Ravensburger, and it's called Artist Palette. I did this one twice this year. I could easily see me doing it a few more times next year. Like I love this image so much. I think the thing I love about it is that I love gradient puzzles or gradient rainbow puzzles, and there's so many different ways to do it in this puzzle. Like first up, we have these pastels, which are in a gradient rainbow form. We have these markers that are in a gradient rainbow form. We have the paints here. We have the palette here, and all of it goes from like the colors of the rainbow, and it's so much fun to do. There's so many things to like pull from. I just absolutely loved it. It just is a fun image. There's so much bright color. It's a Ravensburger puzzle with the large pieces, which is just a fun time for me. So I loved it. I can definitely see me doing it again soon. It was just so much fun to do, and I loved it so much. Moving on to my final puzzle, my favorite of the year. I loved it so much, and I feel like it's because of the experience of it. I'm trying not to give the spoilers. If you want to know the spoilers, I do have a video about this brand, and at the end I did discuss the spoilers of this brand. So this is the Magic Puzzle Company. I did Mystic Maze. I loved it. I hadn't really researched this brand at all. It ended up coming into my email from Amazon. I was like, oh, I'll try this brand, and I ended up just picking up at a whim, and I loved it so much. First up, quality-wise, loved it. Love the matte pieces, beautiful color, really fun image, lots of stuff to work from, a little bit on the chaotic side, but I didn't mind too much. It does have, I will warn you, it does have some false edges, which for me wasn't a big deal. I was like, this is weird. Why are there so many false edges? Because it doesn't quite like come together at all. You have like these segments that are all like, I'm trying not to spoil it, but just so you are aware, there are a lot of false edges. For me, I wasn't quite sure what was happening with it, but I just went along and I didn't mind it too much. The second element of it is that it is a surprise puzzle, and there's like this element at the end which I was not prepared for, and I loved it. I loved the little twist at the end. So much fun, not expecting it, and it just made the puzzling experience that much more exciting. I will warn you though, it might benefit you to have a larger space when doing this puzzle, or have some foam board available so that way you can move some segments. I'm trying not to, again, spoil it for you, but you do need a lot of space for it. I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. I definitely want to do some more from them, and I just loved it. I loved it so much. The moment that I did this one, I said it was my favorite of the year. That has not changed. I loved it so much. So those are my top 10 puzzles of the year. Again, I'll link them down below, but let's move into my puzzle goals of the year and what to expect for next year. So my puzzle goal for this year was 120 puzzles. Definitely succeeded at that. I did 160 puzzles this year, and that did not include the 46 puzzles that were below 300 pieces. Once it was below 300 pieces, I really didn't count it towards the puzzle goal, but I'm happy with 160. That is fantastic. That is by far the most puzzles I've done ever in a single year, and I loved doing them. Again, I had so many good puzzles this year. I did a ton of smaller piece counts. I love 300 to 500 pieces, but I also did more 1,000 pieces than I've ever done before, so I'm happy with all the puzzling I was able to do. This coming year, I'm still keeping it at 120 because my goal for this year is kind of to stretch my comfort zone and to be able to do some larger piece counts. Now, again, my comfort zone is 300 to 500, but mostly because I just like doing them all in one sitting. But in the past, like 3 to 4 months, I've done some more 1,000 pieces. I'm realizing I love them. I love doing them because you have more time with them. They can be a little bit more challenging. I will still be doing the smaller piece counts on my channel, but I do want to give my 1,000 piece puzzles some love because I have so many in my collection that I haven't done yet, but I want to do. So this year, my goal was to do 100,000 pieces, which was way more than I've ever done. In 2021, I did 42,000. Last year, I did 68,000. So to jump into 100,000 was quite extensive, but I thought I could do it. Some months were easier than others. Times when I was moving were not big puzzle months, but I was able to do it. I ended up doing 106,120 puzzle pieces, which is absolutely wild, considering I still have a couple weeks left of the year. So I'm happy with that number. I think that is incredible, and I do want to increase it for next year to 120,000 in hopes that I will do more larger piece counts or 1,000 pieces than what I've done this year. So I think I can do it. I think I can do 120,000 pieces. Might be quite tricky, but again, this year I had moving for the first half of the year, so some months were very light, so I do think I can do it. Fingers crossed, we'll see. The next puzzle goal that I had this year was to do more larger piece counts. I had only done a couple 1,500 plus piece counts a few times in my life prior to this year. So my goal was to originally do at least one per month that was over 1,500 pieces. That didn't happen, but I did do more larger piece counts than I've ever done, so I'm considering that a win. So I ended up doing 4 puzzles that were 1,500 pieces and above. I did 2 2,000 piece and a 4,000 piece, so I'm happy with that. I do want to do a couple larger piece counts next year. I want to stretch myself a little bit, so already I am in the works of doing my 3,000 piece, which is the world map, which if you did my puzzle with me, then you already saw that first section. And then I do want to do some larger piece counts as well this year. I still have my downtown puzzle from Clementoni, which is 6,000 pieces. That's a beast. So my plan for that one is to wait until I get to 6,000 subscribers. So if you want to see me do that puzzle, feel free to subscribe. It's definitely a challenge for that one because it's all in one bag. So for me, I've only done up to 2,000 pieces in a single bag. And so for me, that would be quite tricky. That's a lot of sorting, but I do think it's doable. I definitely have the space for it now. With this puzzle table, it also extends, so I definitely have a lot more space that I can do. So we'll see. It's definitely something I want to do, but I think it would be a good like celebration moment if I hit 6,000 subscribers, which I'm halfway there. We'll see. I don't know if it'll happen this year, but well, fingers crossed. Moving on to the final one, which was to try more small brands. I didn't have a number in mind, but I just wanted to feature more new brands on my channel, and I definitely did. I did 86 brands in total this year, and 49 of those were new brands to me. So they may have been around a while, but I hadn't personally done them, or they were brand new brands, like Villager Puzzles had come out in August. So I definitely explored around and tried some new things. I do want to continue that trend. Again, I really don't have a set number in mind. I just want to try a couple new brands a month, and I don't see any issues with that, so I'm excited. Also, I have a couple new goals this year that I'm adding to the mix. So I already mentioned that I'm wanting to do 120 puzzles with 120,000 pieces. I'm also going to give more love to my 1,000 piece puzzles. So my goal is to do at least 4 a month, which for me right now, I do normally 2 to 3 a month. So I just want to do more of the puzzles that are in my collection that I've been really loving and wanting to do, and I think it would be really fun to just branch out and do a little bit more of my 1,000 pieces. So I want to do at least 4 per month, and I also want to complete at least 6 puzzles that are at least 2,000 pieces. So that's one every other month, or maybe I'm breaking it up if it's like separate bags, but I think that is definitely more doable than what I did last year. It's just some months are busy, so it's not something I can do, so hopefully I can do it. We'll see if I can get to 6. Next up, we have research and discover more puzzle artists. I feel like that's an area of puzzling that I'm not familiar with. I don't know puzzle artists. I don't know which ones are my favorite, and that's something that I feel like is such a miss for me, because I've gone to now 2 separate seminars for puzzle artists and like learning from them and how they think and how they create from their image to their inspiration and then making it into a fun puzzle to do. So it's been so much fun learning about it, and there's so much passion behind them, and I feel like I don't really pay attention to the artists behind the puzzle. So I'm just going to do it on my own, but I really just want to discover who my favorite artists are. Like, is there a certain trend, or just in general just want to see what else they have. So if you have a favorite puzzle artist, let me know down in the comments, because it's definitely a new area for me, but I feel like it'd be really fun to learn about. So I'm just putting it here. Maybe I'll do a video on occasion about some of my favorite puzzle artists, but I'm still discovering that. Moving on to my final goal, which is to get under 1 hour for speed puzzling. Right now I'm at 78 minutes, so still a ways to go, but it is something that I've just started doing recently. So it's fun to do. I don't think it's something I will do all the time, but it is fun to see how fast I can do it. I can see the appeal for it. I do feel like I need to just work on my consistency. I feel like for me, I get kind of distracted halfway through, and I just need to keep that momentum and speed going. So I do think it's possible. I just think it's going to take a little bit of work to get there. So I think I can do it. We'll see. I do have the nationals in March. I don't know if I'll do any other speed competitions next year, but it is fun to explore that world a little bit. And then finally, it's not really a goal, but I do want to kind of be a little bit more aware of my budget this year. I did pretty well at sticking to it at the later half of the year, but I do want to just give love to puzzles that I already have. I want to kind of narrow down my to-do list, because for me, when I have a huge to-do list, it makes me a little stressed. So I do want to kind of do like a big puzzle-thon. I don't know if I'll film it or not, but I just want to do as many puzzles as I can to get my to-do list down. I'd love if it was under 100. So that's my plan, is to keep my puzzle to-do list under 100. I think that is the goal. Right now, let's see what it's at. I don't have them all here, but it's around 150 puzzles. So I need to stop buying for a bit to get down to that goal of under 100, and then try to maintain that level. So it just means I'm going to be doing puzzles I haven't done in a while and have been sitting on my to-do list, and just pausing on the buying and just like slowing things down. So I'm excited about that, because I feel like we all get into the habit of just like buying, getting new things, and we forget about the things that we were really excited about when we bought them. So I hope this inspired you to take a look at your collection, maybe have some puzzle goals for the year. Or if you are not someone who wants puzzle goals, I hope you just are having a fantastic new year. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new, I would love if you subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!